Don't you love when you just talk and talk and talk and talk and then you realize that you never hit record? Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. I'm going to be going over my top 3 reasons why you might be intuitively blocked, but the first one is expectation. Now, it's a recipe for disappointment. I'm going to start by saying that. But it is the way that we are wired to work. Our minds, our brains are wired to put things into boxes, to judge things, put things into categories, because that is the way that we learn the world around us. I remember watching X-Men as a younger person, and I remember Professor X, right, who had the gift of telepathy. He would put his hands or his fingertips on his temples, and that was the way of portraying that he's telepathically tuning in, right? But we have lots of judgments like this that you might not even realize. So when it comes to being intuitive, having psychic abilities, or maybe just having experiences of your own in meditation with spirit, you want to look at what your model or your frame of reference is, because that is where the expectations were formed from. So I'm going to ask you, what do you think an intuitive person should look like? What judgments do you have about them as maybe readers or as spiritual people, right? Is there expectation around the way that you are supposed to look, supposed to portray information, supposed to convey information? What expectations do you have? Okay. When I was, I think 27 or 28, I took my older daughter to Disney World. She's now 11 years old, but it was my first time going and it was her first time going. So naturally, we're both going to have expectations, but my expectations of Disney World were so next level that they were unrealistic. They were unrealistic. I thought we're going to walk through the gates of Disney World and all of the Disney characters, Chip and Dale, all the princesses, all of them are going to come greet me and kind of twirl me around the lanes of Disney World. And that's just not what happened. Wasn't what happened. Turns out to be just another amusement park. Who would have known? But the point that I'm trying to make here is that if I went to Disney World with no expectations, I would have gotten an authentic taste of what Disney World is, versus me being disappointed because my expectations were at a certain level or were a certain way, and the reality of it was not. When you are working with intuition, working with spirit, okay, spirit becomes your teacher at one point, but if you go in with a clean slate with no expectations, then you have an open doorway for spirit to teach you, for spirit to guide you, for spirit to show you the way that intuition works for you. Because we're all built different, all of us. And the way that I perceive energy and spirit is not going to be the exact same as you do. There might be some overlap, some similarities, but we are all different. So expectation is going to be the first thing that blocks you intuitively. The second biggest thing that I see blocking intuition and psychic abilities is going to be fear. Fear is a tough one. Fear is one that is so ingrained in us from past lives, from ancestors, from our childhood. I know for me, I watched a lot of horror movies against what I was taught to be right or wrong. Horror movies were definitely a no-no in my old paradigm, but I watched a lot of them as a kid. So I will say that I had tremendous fear of spirit. I was afraid of seeing things. I was afraid of being touched by demonic forces or scary presences. And I believe, looking back now, that a lot of that fear was taught to me. Also by religion. That is a huge one. So in my background, where I came from, I was a Jehovah's Witness, which means all spirit communication is evil, which means that there is really no such thing as a medium that is communicating with your loved ones who have crossed over, like I'm doing now, bringing people's loved ones through. Old me believed that that was demons coming through. And so I had a tremendous amount of fear around the spirit world in general. And although many of you watching this video may not have been brought up as a Jehovah's Witness like I was, you probably were brought up around some sort of organized religion. And for a lot of us, there is much fear to be taught from organized religion. So the fear has to be cast out before you do kind of open up intuitively, because vibration and your vibration, where you reside at vibrationally, is going to affect what you're kind of calling in, right? So law of attraction, like attracts like. So it is important that you do the inner work before you really start doing the psychic work. The inner work is always going to need to be done first in any branch of life, but especially in this realm, it's going to give you the biggest impact. And then the third reason why you might be blocked intuitively is that you may have a core belief that you are just not good enough. You're not good enough to be intuitive, to use spiritual information or awareness to help yourself or to help others. If you feel in any way, shape, or form like you just can't do it, you're not good enough in some way, shape, or form, that will block you tremendously. So again, it's always going to come back to you. I tell my clients and I tell my kids and I tell myself, the only finger that we should ever be pointing is that to ourselves. And the reason why is because life truly is a mirror. And so if you are not feeling like you're truly connected to spirit, if you're feeling like you're blocked in some way, it's not to point blame in at all, but it's to say there is some inner work to be done in here. And so once you do process out the fear, process out the unrealistic expectations, and process out the feeling and the belief that you are not good enough, you will be a clear vessel to then begin building this beautiful life of connection to spirit. So if you need assistance in processing out the old, the blocks, the things that are stopping you from stepping into your true innate psychic abilities, there's so much online that can help you do the inner work. But if you do need assistance, you can get so far with a guide. And if you've made it this far in the video, definitely check out my website, because I do offer a free consultation if you want to learn more about hypnosis or what energy work can do for you to help you move out those blocks. For me, I had a hypnosis session a few years back now. I want to say it's probably been about 5 years ago, where I went in with the intention of seeing what was blocking my intuition. And I'm going to save that for another video, but it was extremely eye-opening for me, and it opened up quite a bit of space for me. So I look forward to sharing that on the next video, and I look forward to connecting with you again. So have a great day wherever you are, and I will see you soon. Bye.